On the menu today, Julia Child's Thanksgiving turkey that I gotta debone. Okay, this is Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
So welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm in my 54-year-old copy of the French Chef cookbook today. This one's from, of course, Julia Child. And let's open up this book gently. This is what we're making, hot turkey ballottine. I had to look up what ballottine is. It's essentially just like, it's like a cylindrical tube of deboned poultry filled with stuffing, and then it's all rolled up, and that's what we're making. If you've never boned a turkey in your life, yeah, or never seen it done, yeah, you may think it's an impossibly difficult, long, and probably fruitless task. However, boning is not complicated once you start in with a few directions, and it does not take very long to do. Your second attempt will go much faster than your first. Well, we have to get through the first one. Finally, a boned turkey is so easy to carve, you just slice it from end to end like a sausage. I think that's all we need to get started. I feel like we just need to go for it. So let's do just that. My turkey. Now this is like a younger turkey, 11 pounds. Julia says for an 8-pound turkey, boned and stuffed, it can serve around 20 people. So with an 11-pounder, you're all invited. Yeah, truth be told, I've never cooked a turkey before in my life. Although I'm not going to wash it, as I looked up a whole bunch of different pieces online about how you're not supposed to wash turkey because there's really no point. Everything I'm reading online says don't wash the turkey. Just make sure you keep washing your hands. So yeah, that's what I'll do. And I'm gonna dry it all off. Turkey was in some packaging, and when I opened it up, the juice spilt everywhere. It's not really a memory I want to remember forever, but I figure it's fresh on my mind. What the hell? It's just full transparency over here. Whoa! I should have done this over the sink. Oh, this is a terrible start to the video. Just terrible. What the fuck? Took me a little while to clean that all up. Okay, so I'm gonna remove the neck of the turkey. Liver, kidney, hearts, giblets, you name it. What is this plastic thing? Yeah, I'll remove that plastic thing in time. And this little thing here where you would stick the thermometer. I don't need that. Paring knife, and I got a boning knife. Both of these are on the inexpensive side, just in case there is some damage done to them from these big old turkey bones. But yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way to make that happen though. So the opening move is to cut a deep slit down the back of the turkey from neck to tail, exposing the backbone. So alley-oop, neck to tail, exposing the backbone. Okay, there's the backbone. Then with a small sharp knife, its edge always cutting against the bone, scrape and cut the flesh from the carcass down one side of the bird, pulling the flesh from the bones with your fingers. Yikes. Okay, so there's the meat, there's the bone. And I have to keep the knife along the bone so I'm not removing any meat. Okay, this kind of makes sense. I know what we're going for here. Keep the skin intact, my friend. I have found dark meat. Now keep the knife along the bone. Is this like a shoulder bone? It's kind of like protruding out, and I just sliced around it. And then when you come to the ball joints connecting the wing and the second joints to the carcass, sever them and continue down the carcass until you reach the ridge of the breast. So I severed it. Now what? What the hell am I doing? Okay, I gotta separate the leg from the carcass. There's this ball joint in here, and yeah, how the hell? How do you separate the ball joint from... Oh, I removed it. Once you figure out what you're supposed to be doing, it's all pretty straightforward, right? Knife along the carcass, and do not pierce the skin. Continue down the carcass until you reach the ridge of the breast where the skin and the bone meet. Stop at that point. You must be very careful as the skin is thin and easily slit. Repeat the same operation on the other side of the bird. I gotta remove this this ball joint, oh, I see. If I can cut through the ligament right there. Separated. Okay, I see. These two shoulder bones should be connected to the carcass still, not the... Oh, I can just tear those out. Okay. So when you finally arrive at the ridge of the breastbone on the opposite side, stop again. Then lift the carcass frame and cut very closely against the ridge of the breastbone to free it. So once you kind of loosen the ball joint that connects like the wing to the carcass, I can stick a knife through the ligament. I think that's, oh, yeah, just broke a bone. You gotta be very careful not to cut the covering skin, but how do you separate this one last bit? Oh. The carcass. Just put that over there for now. Obvious muscle that I just wanna get rid of. The skin is still intact. It still resembles a turkey. Win-win. Chop off the wing at the elbows, leaving just the upper wing bones attached. As Julia says, just go whack. Whack. Okay. So arrange this mass of skin and flesh on the board, flesh side up. Flesh side up. We'll see protruding from the flesh the pair of ball joints, which are the wings. Okay? Ball joints, 1 and 1. And the second pair at the opposite end, which are the second joints. Ball joints down here too. Okay, I gotcha. What do? Remove the second joint bones by detaching the meat from around the exposed joint and scraping meat from bone while holding into the free end of the joint. When you come to the end, cut it free from the ball joint of the drumstick. Okay, something for the dog, maybe, if I had one. And you're just, Jamie, good job figuring out what a ball joint is. I mean, you just have to look at it, and then it's pretty self-explanatory. So those are gonzo. There's two options right now that I have to figure out which one I want to take. If you want to roast the turkey and still have it look like a turkey, leave on the drumsticks and the upper wings. Okay. If you want all bones removed, yada, yada, yada. I want this to still look like a turkey, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I think for my first try, this is as far as I should push it. I don't want to screw up a good thing right now. Very carefully transfer you over to this cutting board just for now. And I'll just put you off to the side. Let me clean off my main rig over here. So before I do anything with the turkey, I have to move on to these turkey bones and the carcass and all this jazz because I need to make a turkey stock, which is gonna, further down the road, help me make a gravy for the finished dish. So I gotta do all that. And it's gonna take a little bit of time, so I have to get that going now. There's a turkey stock recipe in this book. That's why I keep looking at it. And yeah, I'm just gonna follow along to this. A pound of raw beef or veal bones. So I'm gonna roast these because I think you're gonna get a little more flavor out of them. It's gonna be a little richer, fuller. It's gonna be great. So I'm gonna put these into the oven, 425 for like 30 minutes. As of right now, I do not have like a stock pot, so I use my Dutch oven. Is that gonna be cool? It has to be. So what needs to happen is firstly, let me add this turkey carcass to my just cleaned cutting board. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to filthy it up again. And I got roughly chop this up. This weird plastic thing. How the hell did you get that in there? Okay. So over here I have all the pieces to my turkey carcass and the bones and gizzard and the heart. And then the liver does not go in my stock. Someone was telling me why. I can't remember why. There's a reason. I don't want to look it up right now because my hands are covered in raw turkey. So bring the Dutch oven over here. All these pieces go in. Fill up with water at least 2 inches above the bones and a couple tablespoons of salt. Bring that up to a simmer. Once those beef bones are browned, into the water. The water's simmering, I gotta start skimming the scum. I gotta do this for like 5 minutes straight. The joys of making your own stock. It'll be worth it, I know it. 2 leeks, roughly chopped. The hell's that? 2 carrots, roughly chopped. 2 peeled onions that I'm gonna stick with 2 cloves each. All right, parsley, thyme, and bay leaf wrapped up in a cheesecloth. A herby herb bouquet. Okay, so here's the tough part. I gotta add in all my vegetables, but I'm well aware of the displacement this is gonna cause. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough. There might be just a bit too much water. Okay, press it down. Herbs, man. And then with some of the water I removed, I'm gonna add back in. Right to the top. That's gonna simmer for 3 to 4 hours, uncovered. And yeah, I'll be checking, skimming the scum, taking the fat off. If it needs more water, I'll add more water. But for the most part, that just hangs out, just like this. And we got a lot to do, so that's why I wanted to do this now. Okay, we're gonna move on to our stuffing. She says you can use any conventional turkey stuffing you wish, such as with breadcrumbs, which is what I'm accustomed to, rice or sausage, which I am not accustomed to. Yeah, I'm just gonna follow along to the one in the book here, which is, as she says, a French pâté mixture. Although it's unlike any stuffing I have seen before. So I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan. That's a medium heat. This is 1 cup of finely minced onions, and once that butter starts to melt and foam, now once those onions become translucent and tender, this is when things start to get interesting. This is cognac, and that's gonna be 1/3 cup, 75 mils. Hell yeah. Also, this is Madeira wine. It's a Julia favorite. And I need the same of that. Boil that down till it's around half. Here we go. More interesting things. This is a pound of ground beef. She says you could use ground veal, but I opted for the beef. No harm, no foul. And this is 1 pound of lean ground pork. And she says you need a 1/2 pound of ground pork fat. This is what I did instead. I grabbed 1.5 pounds of ground pork. I figure if I add a tablespoon extra of pork fat on top of the 1.5 pounds of ground pork that has a percentage of pork fat in it, that should about cover my ass. Yeah, I mean, to me, in my head, that all makes sense. For you, I'm not sure, but to me, I think we're good. Bowl me. Thank you. And in goes the meat. Those browned onions into the bowl as well. Add in 1.5 tablespoons of salt. There we go. A teaspoon of thyme, 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Whoa, where's that sun coming from? I have been chosen. That's 1/8 teaspoon of freshly cracked pepper. In the measuring cup that I was using for the alcohol, I'm adding in 3 eggs. I feel like this is a sign. Julia, how am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna beat this vigorously until it's thoroughly mixed. You know what? Something like this, I always just like using my hands. Yeah. Okay, that is looking interesting. If there's one thing going for it, it's interesting. The return of the bird. I like working on this bigger space here. Around 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just like 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, 1/8 teaspoon of allspice, and 3 tablespoons of cognac. Just says season with it. So, all right, just pour it on top. You're the boss, Julia. 3 tablespoons of cognac all over the place. That's what she says, 3 tablespoons. Okay. Oh. Heap the stuffing in the center. Okay, and then shaping it into a loaf. Okay, I'm thinking like that. Bring the turkey skin up over the loaf to enclose it completely. I get you. So I got a needle with some string and I gotta sew this thing. So just start sewing, even though you don't know how to sew. If there's anything leaking out, I'm just kind of sewing up the holes as well. As Julia says, there's not really a written rule on how to do this, just kind of figure it out on your own. Okay, so now I gotta, what'd she say? Make 3 or 4 ties around the circumference of the turkey to give it a cylinder shape. Okay, I get you. I think I get you.
And then loop it around. This is going to give it a little better shape.
Yeah, Julia does it really easily and quickly, and I can't seem to figure it out at all. She wraps the string underneath the 2 legs and then around the entire length of this son of a turkey. Tie a knot there. Keep going around. Another couple turns might help your problem right now. Tie a knot there. I'm very focused right now, not really into the chit chat. There you go, that's the start of something. Stick a needle through the 2 legs there to kind of keep the legs together. And everywhere else I've kind of tied up so it's like holding somewhat of a cylindrical turkey shape. The skin is just like au naturel right now. It's just naked. And she has no mention of like buttering that up. She says baste it later down the road, but right now there's no mention of any of that. But I honestly think it should have it. This is my call. Believe me, I'm more surprised than anyone that Julia has no mention of buttering up this skin. So yeah, I'm just gonna do it on my own. I think that's the right call. Although you didn't mention it, Julia, you have taught me well. You want the skin to be brown and golden and beautiful, and poke your finger with the needle that's in the legs. That's fine, don't worry about it. Crank some salt and some pepper on top of that as well, just to cover my ass, just in case I'm missing something here. So in my brand spanking new roasting pan, let's very carefully bring the turkey over onto its side. So I'm gonna put the turkey on one side to start, and I got one of those racks in here that's like the shape of a V. Oven's at 350 F. 30 minutes on the one side, flip it over onto the other side for another 30 minutes. So after a full hour in the oven, I'm gonna turn the turkey so that the breast is facing up. Lower the oven temperature to 325. I gotta add a meat thermometer into like the leg area, the area where it's gonna get the best reading. And it's obviously gotta be hitting the stuffing because, I mean, that's gonna be cooked through too. Basting with the butter until this bird starts leaking some fat of its own. Finally, there's enough roasting fats on the bottom of this pan. I can use the ball baster. Basting with fat in the pan every 20 to 30 minutes. She says here an 8 to 9 pound turkey will take around 3.5 hours. Mine was around 11 pounds, which, you know, 3.5 to 4 hours. That's what I would think. I'll be watching it. And then continue roasting to a thermostat reading of 185 degrees F. You know, I'm not gonna listen to that, don't worry. I'm gonna take my turkey out when it hits 160, and I need it to get to 165 F. Final temperature. So after like, I'm gonna say like over 4 hours, maybe even 5 hours, this stock is finished. Bowl me. I'm gonna need a very big bowl, thank you very much, and I have to strain this. Let's be smart about how we strain this stuff. So let's just take a spoon to start. Yeah, just like this, just to get it going, you know? Like a big old onion. When you feel you've simmered all the flavor out of your ingredients, strain the liquid into a big bowl. Carcass, vegetables, all this stuff. I don't need it anymore. First, let's just take off this layer of fat on the very top. So in my newly purchased fat separator. It's a big deal for me. I have 3 cups worth of turkey stock. That's gonna be for the gravy. All this turkey stock, well, as Julie puts it in the book, will make the best turkey soup imaginable. Her words. I'm gonna put this in the fridge for now. I was desperate for a gravy recipe from Julia Child, and I couldn't find one in this cookbook or the other 2 cookbooks I'm always using. I had to here's the thing. I don't want to reveal where I'm finding this Julia Child gravy recipe because I was gonna save that reveal for something down the road. Anyway, we can still make it. It's called an old-fashioned brown gravy. In a saucepan, I have a 1/4 cup of flour. I need to get 3 tablespoons of the turkey roasting fat from the bottom of that pan in the oven. So 1, 2, oh, that's 3. And there's some for good luck. Blend that together with the flour. Take that off. I mean, we're on a thicker end of the roux spectrum, but I think that's what she means. A moderate heat until it turns walnut brown. Turn off the heat. 3 cups of hot turkey stock. But I do not know if this is gonna work. Let's add a little bit in now and see if it's gonna blend. Vigorously whisking and adding in hot turkey stock. Just keep adding it a little at a time. Okay, I didn't think that the flour lumps would go away, but you just gotta trust the process, I guess. Until all the turkey stock has been added, get that up to a simmer. Turkey is at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That has to come out of the oven. It has been a little over 3.5 hours. Wow. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think we're good everywhere. Turkey needs to come out for a hot minute because I have to do something with this pan for the gravy. So I'm gonna bring this roasting pan over to the stovetop. That's my interpretation. And get the heat going on there. 1 cup of dry white vermouth. And into the roasting pan, I gotta deglaze this thing. Okay, reduce, reduce, reduce. There's not a whole lot of information on what the hell I'm doing right now, so I have a feeling if I just do this, why not pour this into here first? Fat separator from one thing to another thing. That way you are skimming that stuff into the gravy. Simmer for several minutes. Remove the string off the turkey. So I am finding the gravy to be kind of clumpy. Just strain that. I think that would be best for everyone. Whoa, there was a lot of crap. If it tastes good, it's done. It's delicious. I still don't have a gravy boat, do I? I don't have anything I can really put the gravy in that's gonna make it look nice. Gravy is complete. Okay. I guess that about does it. Order up! Apparently, you can remove the seam at the back, but it's vanished. It's in there somewhere, but I don't want to go digging for it and just ruin everything. I almost don't even want to cut it open because on the outside, it's like a magazine cover. I have no idea how I'm supposed to serve this, and quite frankly, I don't really care right now. So, I mean, it's just me in here. I think I can just use a nice sharp knife and go right through. Let's take a look on the inside. Wicked. Just one of those days where everything's just clicking, I guess, because on the outside, it looked the part. On the inside, it's so much fun to cut through a turkey and there's no bones in there. It's smooth as butter. The tastes are in overdrive. You're gonna have a fun time with this one. It's just having both the turkey meat and that stuffing on the fork together. They're 2 different things, but they were like cooking cohesively. I'm just picturing like all that rendered fat from the stuffing that was coming out of the beef and the pork and then cooking together with that turkey. And then everything was just, you cook that for a bunch of people and you don't tell anyone how you cooked it or what's in the turkey, people are not gonna know what the hell's going on. That's a showstopper right there. Happy Thanksgiving. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir. And we didn't really talk about the gravy, but it's also on another level. I love this gravy. I love every single thing going on with this cook today, except for this large mess. What's that thing in turkey that makes you really tired? Tryptophan.